Hello, readers. So, this week we've been reading fairy tales and we've been thinking about the different story elements of each fairy tale that we've read. Today is the day where we're going to look at both of our fairy tales and compare and contrast them to see how they are similar and how they are different versions of the same story. You have a couple of options of how you want to show your work today. All of these options include making some sort of Venn diagram, but how you do it is going to be up to you. Here are your choices. You can just very simply continue to use your reader's notebook or a piece of paper and just draw a Venn diagram inside it and put the title of each book on the top. So it's two big circles that overlap in the middle, the title of each book at the top. That's one option. Another option will be to complete the same kind of Venn diagram, but on Seesaw, so using all those Seesaw features. If you choose the option to do this on Seesaw, please make sure that it is neat, organized, and that Ms. McNaught can read everything you've written. So use the text, the label button, to type any of your sentences or your thoughts, and only use the drawing feature for small details, not so much the words, because that can be hard to read. The third option is what we would have done if we were in the classroom. So you don't have to do it this way, but to me this is the funnest one. You're going to take a blank piece of paper and you're going to fold it in half, hot dog style, like this. And on the front, you're going to draw your Venn diagram. You kind of have to make your circles long and kind of flat, squished like this, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Then, on each side of the circle, you'll write the title of each version of the story that you read, and in the middle, you'll write same. I almost wrote different, so I had to cover it up with a Post-it. Oops. Now, for the fun part. You're going to take some scissors. Make sure you ask an adult to either help you or permission to use them, and you're going to cut it. You're going to cut it into 3 flaps by cutting here and here. I'm going to tell you, you must be careful because you only want to cut this side of the paper. You want to leave this paper the same. If you cut 3 through the whole thing, you're just going to end up with 3 pieces of paper. It won't all stay together. So you're making a flip book, but you want to leave this back part all together. So only cut the front part. Okay, so you're going to take your scissors and very simply cut up to the crease in a straight line. That's one flap. That's the other flap. So now you've created a little flip book. So everything about Goldilocks and the 3 Bears that makes it different and special, I'll write under here. Everything about Goldilocks and the 3 Librarians that makes it different and special, I'll write under here. And then finally, everything about them that was similar or the same, I'll write in the middle underneath the flap that says same. You will use your Venn diagram and both of the graphic organizers that you should have in your notebook to help you. So you're going to start by really just taking a look at all of the things you wrote. You might want to go one subject at a time. So you might want to start with the characters. Really think about the characters in each version of your story. Were they similar or different? For example, in my 2 stories, both of the books had a Goldilocks character and 3 bears that were a family with a papa, mama, and baby. So I would definitely put that in my middle flap for what's the same. But the characters in the story were described very differently. In Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, the first one I read, this Goldilocks was super naughty and pretty rude and didn't really care about what people thought. In this version of the story, Goldilocks is a little more curious and she's just really into reading books and wants to get her hands on some books. So the characters are portrayed very differently, so I would write those on the outer flaps of my Venn diagram. You're going to do this for all 4 things. Was the theme of the story the same or was it different? Were the settings of the story similar or were they different? Something that would be the same for both of my stories is that most of the story takes place inside the bears' homes, but I could put on the outside flaps what made their houses different from each other. You also want to think about these events in the story. You can get a lot of good ideas from that. Something similar about both versions of Goldilocks that I read is that Goldilocks takes a shortcut, and that's how she ends up at the bear's house. But what's different about them is definitely how the bears react to her. In Goldilocks and the Three Bears, this version of the story, they're super mad and she runs away. But in Goldilocks and the Three Librarians, they smile at her and end up reading with her, and they all are happy in the end. So, think about what makes each version of your story similar and different. Use your graphic organizer to help you and create some sort of Venn diagram either in your notebook, on Seesaw, or a special flipbook if you want to make it super cool and flipbook like mine. All right, good luck and have fun with it.